fundamentals of life. Yes. Oh, my goodness. Thank you for coming back. Make sure you stick around to the end of this video, as I would just like to give you all a little message. But first of all, as you have seen from the title of this video, we're going to be discussing a rather controversial topic in the world of role-playing games. It's railroading. Have you heard of it? Doesn't that word just make your blood boil? Doesn't it? Especially if you're a player. I'm sure it does. So, here's what railroading is, for those of you who don't know, and we are going to talk about how it can be addressed by keepers and players, or game masters and players, in any type of RPG setting. So, what this horrible word is, let's switch to it, railroading. Ugh. Switch back. Thank you. It is when the dungeon master, keeper, game master, whatever you want to call it, has a set end in mind, and to get to that set end, they force the players to do X constantly. They will, and there are different ways of it. There are different ways of doing it. One very obvious way is when the keeper's just like, or the game master, going to say game master from here on out. When the game master's just like, no, you can't do that because we need this to happen, or this needs to happen, or it just won't fit with the story. That's railroading. Alright? Railroading is when the game master has a set goal in mind and won't let the players make their own choices in favor of getting that goal. Alright? So the keeper, or gosh, I keep doing that. The game master will say, you can't do this. He'll hint that you can or can't do something. They will keep trying to get you to do whatever the thing is. And that is what railroading is. And it's really annoying for players, and it's poor game mastering on the part of the game master. Because at the heart of role-playing is free will to do what you want, because it's supposed to be similar to real life. So, how to get around this problem? Because it is a problem. Game masters have a story, and that story needs to be told one way or another, and you cannot just have the players going and doing whatever, but you also, as a game master, do not want to railroad them. Now, a little backstory on why this is coming up. I produced a scenario, and someone had a discussion with me about the railroading. And I said multiple times that I hate railroading. And he basically said, well, you do it all the time. And that made me revise my opinion on railroading a little bit, because I'm realizing that there are two types of railroading. And the first type is blatant and obvious, and the second is the solution to the railroading problem. So, now that you know what railroading is and why I'm making this video, let's talk about how we can fix the problem of railroading inside any type of RPG. So, first of all, railroading, let me give you an example. Let's say you need the players to find a book. Now, you have a set idea in mind. You have this book, the said book, in a specific room, and they have to find a specific key inside the mansion, take the key to the library, the locked library, and then they have to that's the way they get inside, is with the key. An example of railroading would be if the players, instead of wanting to go to the mansion, wanted to go to the bar. And you say, no, you have to go to the mansion because that's where the stuff is. No. You need to railroad without letting them know you're railroading. That is the solution to the problem of railroading. The players need to allow you to railroad them because there is a story. Now, you should not write out the ending. That's not what I'm saying game masters should do. There should not be a set ending, especially in a non-linear scenario. But if you need a certain event to happen, If you need them to meet a certain person, you need them to find a certain object, and they go about it in a different sort of way, all you need to do is move it. Move the event that you wanted to happen where it needs to be. For example, let's go back to my previous example. If they say, oh, they want to go to the bar, an example of abject railroading would be telling them, no, you can't. You have to go to the mansion. The way to fix it, however, is if you then say, all right, fine, you go to the bar. They go to the bar, they order a few drinks. There's a shady man in the corner that you described to them when you described the room. Now, you've given them incentive to go talk to someone. Now, this man might lead them back to the mansion. He might be an NPC you've fleshed out. He's supposed to be in a different place, but hey, you can use him here. Could be a cultist. The key is he needs to have some way to get to the book. Maybe he has the book that you wanted them to find in the mansion. Well, obviously they're not going to the mansion. So the way to fix it is to improvise, but still have the important scene, object, character, whatever, take place, be found, be talked to, whatever it is. So the idea is that your story still gets told. The players decide how you do it. And that's one of the main things that you're going to need to learn if you're trying to run games and stuff like Call of Cthulhu and Dungeons & Dragons, is that a lot of times, if you buy a scenario or an adventure module or whatever, they will railroad you. They'll say, all right, this is what's going to happen, here's the way it's going to happen, especially in Dungeons & Dragons. I've bought in a few Dungeons & Dragons modules. I can't stand them. They always get better when we go off book. We have a general arc, but then I let the players do what the players want to do. If it gets them in deep trouble, then they die or have a bunch of problems, but at least they chose their own path. I didn't say no. So what you need to do is understand the fundamental idea that if you can get what you needed to happen, then everything's all right. You may have railroaded them, but they don't know that. So the idea is to take events, take objects, take characters that need to happen, make sure you remember that they need to be there. But you don't map out the journey. You can map out the journey, but you don't keep that as your main blueprint for the journey. So when the characters say they don't want to go to the mansion, they want to go to the bar, you know, all right, I need to use the book, I need to get the book, so you give the book to this non-player character in the bar. So now they're still going to find the book. Your story is still told. The only difference is you weren't railroading them. And that's what's important here, because railroading sucks. Really bad, especially when you do it wrong. So, the point of this video is for me to tell you how to get around railroading. How to railroad your players without them noticing it. And I hope that you've understood at least a little bit of a general idea of how to get around this problem. Also, Happy New Year to everyone who's subscribed to this channel. If you haven't and you're watching this, please do. We have a lot of content coming, all right? It's very fun doing this. We're going to continue trying to improve the channel. You know, I want to get better gear and keep on pumping out content for you. Thank you all for all the support. It really means a lot to me. And we have lots coming up, so stay tuned for all of it. Thank you for watching this, and until next time. Until